Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're sighting in the new shotgun. So as long as I've turkey hunted, I have always used a 12 gauge. It's actually a shotgun I bought from my dad. It was a Remington 870 12 gauge. It's got like a 28-inch barrel. It's a 3-inch, they called it at the time, 3-inch Magnum pump action. And that's all I've ever used. I've got a couple of different chokes on it that I've ran over the years, had a lot of success with it. Really began to see a huge improvement when I went to actually a adjustable sight as opposed to just using the bead. So that was all I had ever done. Well, my son came along and he wanted a semi-auto 20, so we got him one for his birthday a couple years ago, and I had used TSS with my 12 gauge for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years and just had incredible success with it. You know, I don't shoot beyond the 45-yard range because that's not really what it was designed for. To me, also, it's about getting the birds in close. The purpose of TSS is to put more pellets at a traditional hunting distance than you would with just copper-plated lead or just standard lead shot in general. A lot of people out there are making it out to be a 75, 80, 90-yard load. Whatever. I don't even attempt that. I don't think about it. That's not what it was designed for. That's not what the intent or purpose of it is. But that said, TSS has changed the game for a lot of hunters. My son, for example, when he started hunting, he had a 410 that he was turkey hunting with, and he was shooting just copper-plated lead, 6 or 7 shot, I forget. And at 25, 30 yards, you know, he would be lucky to get a decent number of pellets on target. Well, when he stepped up to the 20 gauge, we put a red dot on it and got him some Verdict 8-shot for it, and holy cow. I mean, at 40 yards, he's putting more pellets on target at 40 yards with his 20 gauge than I can with my 12 gauge when I shoot a standard lead shot out of it, whether it be 5-shot, 6-shot, whatever it is. You step that up to TSS with a 12 gauge and you're just, you know, having way more pellets hitting target anyway. All that said, I have finally decided to give the 410 game a go. I love 410s. That was the first gun I ever shot, was a 410. I squirrel hunted with 410s as a kid. I still have an old 410 that's just a fixed full choke that I love to shoot. But it is not accurate enough at distance for turkeys. Now, if I was hunting out of a blind and I had all my turkeys in at 20 yards coming to target or to decoys, that'd be different. But at distance, I wanted something that I could, you know, have a lot more confidence in. And this gun weighs about half as much as my 12 gauge. So a lot of the public land hunts where I'm walking in 3/4 or a mile minimum, this is going to come in way handy compared to lugging that long 28-inch barrel, heavy 12 gauge, plus the shells. I mean, you got to think all that weight begins to add up. This thing doesn't weigh anything. So looking forward to this. I'm going to sight it in first. And what I'm going to do to start with today is to sight the gun in, to sight the scope in. We just bought this scope. I'm going to use just some standard 2.5-inch, 7.5 shot, just Super X loads. I've got the target set up at about 10 yards. What I'm looking for is I'm looking to try to get, you know, close to on at 10 yards with just a standard load. Then I'll start backing it out to 20 yards, 30 yards, and then I'll start shooting the TSS through it and checking that out at distance and fine-tuning the scope at that point. So let's jump in here and let's see where we get. Let's see how close we are here at roughly 10 yards. A bunch of birds just flew away. Alright, well, I'm having to change things up a little bit. That 2.5-inch just was not cutting mustard. Pellets are spraying all over the place, even at 10 yards. I mean, they're covering the entire target. So I'm going to step up here to a 3-inch and see if maybe that makes a difference. Get my hearing protection and everything on. I mean, this gun's not loud, but still. Let's see if this makes a difference here. Well, that's awful close. Goodness gracious. If I turn the side on the scope on. Very low. Very low. Alright. Side to side looks good, but it is very low. Let's go make an adjustment here. Alright, so that was about 6-7 inches low at 10 yards. So made a couple of adjustments. Let's see what happens here now. That is still really low. Alright, I had to get pretty creative here. Now my sign's getting blown off. My target's been blown off by the wind. Anyway, I had to get kind of creative. This thing is shooting so low. So what I did was I set it up here in my gun rest and I tightened it down so that I had the red dot on the neck dot that I was aiming at, and I just kept adjusting the MOA adjustment, the elevation adjustment, down until the dot got to where the point of impact has been. So I'm hoping I knocked out quite a bit of adjustment. I ended up doing like 48 clicks to get down to that point. So load another load here, shoot, and hopefully we're a lot closer to where I should be. Alright, let's see if we're closer now. Camera's all rolling? I think so. Perfect. Oh, that's what I wanted it to do. Alright. Now, I can start backing it up and checking my distance, checking my zero at distance now. Alright, that one worked out pretty good. Let's try again here. Now I've backed it up to about 20 yards. And let's see what we got here now. After this shot, if I'm close at 20, I'm going to switch to TSS. If I'm yelling, it's because I got earplugs in. I think that looks pretty good. Let's go check it out. Alright, so got pretty good coverage here. Now obviously I didn't have my large splatter target up, so I was just trying to conserve. I didn't want to waste a whole bunch of those before I get to the TSS. Yeah, it may be a bit cheap on my part, but I still got pretty good coverage across it. Keep in mind, that's just standard. I switched to 3-inch 4-shot, so there's not a lot of pellets in a 410 with 4-shot in it. So, you know, I've got covered the whole target paper here. Now I'm going to switch out. I'm going to put a good target back on. I'm going to switch out to the TSS, and let's see what we look like with the TSS. Alright, now let's get this thing set with TSS now. I've had to move just a little bit because of the sun, but we should be good to go. Alright, camera's on. Let's see what we got here. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Let's go check that out. Alright, so this target's about 25 yards. As you can see, I am shooting a little high and to the left right now, just based on the pellets here. So I'm going to make a couple of small adjustments to the scope, to the red dot, and switch out targets and give it another go and see if I can kind of pull that back down in, because I was aiming at this red dot here. But all in all, though, I mean, the pattern density here from a 410, I know, you know, TSS and 410s is not new. A lot of people have been doing it for years. It's new to me because it's not really something that I've experimented with, because I was so comfortable with the 12 gauge. But that's pretty impressive considering I'm using the factory choke and I'm still just dialing the thing in. I mean, if I can get it tuned, dialed in a little bit better, it's just going to get better from here. So take this target down, put another one on, and see if we can get it a little bit better. Alright, so at about 25 yards, I'm saying I was about 3 inches high, and maybe I'm going to say 2 or 3 inches left. So if you do the math and you figure it out, then that's 3 clicks times 4 would be 12 roughly. So I'm going to do, just to be a little bit more conservative, I'm going to do 10 clicks down, and I think I was about 2.5 inches left from what I could tell. So I'm going to do probably 10 clicks down and 8 clicks right is what I'm going to do. So okay, and let's see where that puts us now. I think I'm going to be really close. Okay. Let's give it a go here. Ready? Looks pretty good to me. Well, wouldn't you know it, but the camera batteries died as I was doing that last shot. So I made the sight adjustment, which I think you saw. I think I saw that actually recorded. I look to be getting good coverage now. I think I've got what I was looking for. The other camera, the second angle camera, the one that was zoomed in on the target, that did catch it. So I'll go ahead and play that here so you can see that. But I think the adjustment I made did well. I did use my rangefinder to check the range here, and I am right at 25 yards. What I am a little, now granted my target's not any bigger, what I'm a little surprised about, keep in mind this is 3-inch 410 9.5 shot, and I am using the factory choke that came with that Stevens 301. Pattern is a little spread out. Now it does have a lot of density. This would definitely have killed that bird, no question. If I was having to go back 10 years before TSS was out, and if my 12 gauge was throwing a pattern like this at 25 yards with standard 5-shot, lead, copper-plated lead 5-shot, I would have been happy. I'm new to the 410 game. Maybe this is a little more typical of what a 410 throws at these kind of distances. I'm going to play around with it and see what I can do. Jeez, oh Pete, I don't know, I'm going to say there's 30 pellets in the head and neck. I mean, that's fantastic out of a 410, either way you cut it. And actually, now that I'm just talking through it and thinking about it, I probably would rather have that kind of coverage, because you can't have too tight of a pattern. Their heads are moving, they're bobbing, they're all the time doing stuff. And if you do have too tight of a pattern, you can just blow right past them. I mean, the objective isn't to cut their head off. I mean, to some guys it is, but the overall objective isn't to cut their head off because you got such a tight shot pattern. I mean, you want to have coverage to get a good, quick, ethical kill, and this would definitely do that. So I'm going to play around with it. I think really to do a good comparison of that next is I'm going to, and I'm not going to do it today, but next time I'm going to get out and I'm going to shoot the 410 with the 3-inch 9.5 shot, and I'm going to shoot the 20 and the 12 with 3-inch 8-shot, and just compare side by side the pattern density between the three. This has been kind of a long, rambling video, I know, but this is something I wanted to share with you in case there's anybody else out there that's thinking about doing this, has these kind of questions. I just wanted to put this out there. If you got any questions, comments, feel free to drop them below. I thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, I ask that you hit the subscribe button. If you like this kind of content, hit the bell and you'll be notified every time we release a new video. I wish you a wonderful day. Have a great turkey season. Stay safe, and God bless.